Hey, it's Brian, and I am here to tell you about my favorite wine accessory. It really is the best thing I have ever purchased, and it is the Coravin. Let's first talk about what the Coravin is. Well, the Coravin is a way to get wine out of a bottle without actually pulling out the cork, to kind of maintain the wine for, they'll say forever, but I think you've got maybe a couple months where the bottle will still be good. And you know what, rather than going into a whole long explanation, let's just use this thing and then we can talk about it, because then I can be drinking while we're doing it. Comes in this fancy box. Nice. Who cares? So this is the appliance right here, and let's just show you how to use it. So basically what you have is a canister of argon gas that goes in here, and you clamp the device onto the bottle, and there's a needle over here. You push down, flip it upside down, give it a little push on this little lever, and it pushes argon gas into the bottle and pulls out a couple ounces of wine for you. Obviously, the longer you hold this down, the more gas it goes into the bottle and the more wine it's going to extract. Slowly coming out. Here's where, if you want to see all class, watch this. That's right, just lick up those drips. Pull up the needle, unclamp. Bottle goes back. Coravin can go back on its little stand, and if you look really carefully, there's a little tiny hole at the very top where the needle went through. And because this is cork, it's not any kind of totally flubbing this. Because it is cork, basically what happens is it will close and seal itself, and the argon gas inside is lighter than oxygen, so it sits on top of the wine and it doesn't affect the wine. Within about a minute or so, you can turn the bottle upside down. Nothing comes out. If you've never seen this before, then you're probably thinking, I need to get one of these right away. And the answer is yes, you do. So now I can put this back on my shelf and come back to it later and then enjoy a glass of wine. So let's talk about why would you want this? And I'm going to tell you that in 1 second. Okay, not terrible. So if you're a restaurant, why would you want this? Well, the advantage of this is maybe you have higher priced bottles and you want to be able to put them on a list and give customers access to some of those bottles that they may not want to pay $200 for a bottle, but maybe they'll pay $30, $40, $50 for a glass of something really special. And this is a way that you don't have to pull the cork and then feel that that bottle is going to spoil within a couple days and no one else is going to buy it off of you. So for a restaurant, this is a really great tool. You can buy them online. You can get it on Amazon. There's a link below that will link you to purchasing one. I can't recommend this enough. If you're a restaurant, just stop whatever you're doing, go order one, start sharing your great wines on your list with people. Now I'm going to talk about why I want this at home. So I don't live with anyone. I'm by myself, and I don't necessarily want to drink an entire bottle. I can, and sometimes I do, but I don't necessarily always want to go through an entire bottle that night or within that couple days. Maybe I want to drink something else. And what's neat about this is now I can start sampling a lot of wines maybe in one night. And I've been into wine now for a few years, and as I was learning kind of the hallmarks of certain grapes, being able to sample a few wines side by side was really helpful to me, to be able to put down a Sauv Blanc and a Riesling and really understand the tasting notes and the differences between the two. It's really a comparison. If I just had that Sauv Blanc and, oh yeah, okay, I guess, yeah, it smells good, whatever, and then drink it, and then a few days later try a Riesling, it didn't register as much as when I could have the two side by side and really go back and forth and say, I get it. I understand how the structure of this is different than that. And so when I'm at home, sometimes throughout a night, I'll say, hey, let's maybe start with a white or two, and then maybe a red or two. And I'm not taking a lot. I mean, you can pour as much or as little out of the bottle as you want, but I might just be taking 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces, maybe 3 ounces if it's something I really like. But it's really great for me to just pull a couple glasses down and say, okay, let's put a white in here, put a red in this, and just Coravin as I go along, and then get to try different things throughout the night. The other thing that it lets me do is sample some of my higher end bottles and buy and justify buying some of those higher end bottles. So for me, I can't be drinking every week a $150 of Grand Cru Pinot. And when you buy a bottle like that, I think a lot of people have trouble justifying, well, what's the occasion that I'm gonna just open a $150 bottle of something really fantastic? I mean, I'd love to open it every day of the week or every week, but it's hard to justify. And when you have a device like this, you can start saying, you know what? Pretend this is the great bottle of Pinot. You could say, maybe I'll just pull a glass out now and I'll come back in a week or two and have another glass, and spread that $200 or $150 bottle out over the course of maybe a month or 2 months, and just slowly work your way through that bottle. I think that that's really great because you don't have to feel that you're doing it all in one shot. So that's another way that I use the Coravin. If you're wondering what the canisters are like, I've got this little spare set, comes in 2s. Canisters look just like this. They're small, pretty light. I keep a bunch of them kicking around. And if you're wondering what the cost is of the canisters, basically when you do each pour, I find it works out to about 50 cents every time you do it. So it's still easy to justify, even on a $20 or $30 bottle. Some people might say, oh, it only is good if you have a really expensive bottle. But the truth is, maybe if I've got 5 bottles that are $20 or $30 each, and I can let them last a month instead of having to use them in a week or so, then it still makes more sense for me to pay the 50 cents, pour it now, and let that thing hold, and I'll come back to it in a month. And just work my way slowly through a whole bunch of bottles. So it's about 50 cents a pour. If you're wondering if you should get a Coravin, if you can afford to buy it, I can't recommend this accessory enough. It is the best preservation system. It is super fun to use. All my friends think that this is the coolest thing because it pretty much is. And it really lets me sample lots of stuff, which I enjoy doing. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.